nice to speak to you, and I love how you have the perfect backdrops.
Hi, Nancy. Yes, I'm in an art gallery in Chelsea, and in this gallery are 13 stolen pieces of art from the Gardner Museum.
Wow, we're talking so close to what made history.
That's right. It's right here.
How does it feel? Do you feel some sort of energy? I always wonder about that.
Uh, yeah, I mean, so this is kind of part of the promo for the movie. But we opened a gallery in Chelsea with all this art and with all the pieces, and we had a big party last night. And one of the people that came to the party was a guard at the Gardner Museum, actually, for 10 years. And he was really kind of freaked out because he hasn't seen these pieces. Nobody's seen these pieces in 35 years. And he said, I've walked by these like 10,000 times. And it was just kind of a really strange, emotional, amazing experience. There is something incredible about seeing them all together in one place. So yeah, it's the gallery show. We're up for just 3 days, but it's really, really fun.
What came to your idea of writing this story, a true-ish story, uh, in this case, and putting like I feel like it's sort of like a love letter to Boston in a way.
Yeah, absolutely. I live in Boston. I'm from Boston. I've seen a lot of people come because Massachusetts has a great tax break for filming. So a lot of movies come into Boston and film here, and they never look like Boston. They look like what outsiders think Boston is, which are heavy Southie accents and tough guys that are, mobster tough guys, and then fly over drones over Fenway Park. And that's just not my day-to-day experience. That's not what I see every day in Boston. So I wanted to make a movie that showed what I see and the people that I know and their crazy wisdom. And how weird and funny they can be. And in terms of uh, it was to me like, why this story? I think there were two great myths of my lifetime in Boston, and the Gardner Museum heist is one of them, and the Whitey Bulger story, I think, is the other. And this one, I grew up when I was a kid going to this museum, and it just felt like a great backdrop to me.
I love it. I love the city of Boston. I always tell people, whoever are like, well, I'm going to New York. I'm like, don't go to New York, Boston. New York stinks.
Yeah, Boston's a small town, and living here it can get a little. I call it a good town to leave and come back to.
Tell me about the true-ish side of this story that is based on this art heist.
Well, the truth is there was an art heist 35 years ago at the Gardner Museum. It is unsolved, it remains unsolved. There have been many suspects, no arrests. Uh, Not really any clues, some clues that have gone nowhere. But the one thing we know for sure, the one fact we know for sure, is that there are some really interesting characters associated with this crime. And that's what I'm interested in, the funny characters who are around it. And that's what I wanted to focus on. So it's like a genre story. This is what the French did. They would take a genre story, like a heist, and they'd put the heist in the background. And what it was really about were the characters around it. So that was why it was the perfect subject for me to take on as my first uh, direction, my first directorial debut.
Well, congratulations with that. And
Thank you.
getting a great cast. I love the Marty character. The dialogue you put into him was brilliant. It's like he's this bad ass gangster, but deep down he kind of has a heart and is with wit.
And that's hard to do. And there's not a lot of people that can do two things at the same time. And Paul Guilfoyle is one of them. That was my goal, was to give Paul a really big runway to play. But think how hard it was. That was the challenge, right? That's what made it such a fun character. His job was to get this kid to do what he wanted. At the same time, he kind of likes him and he wants to kind of raise him up. He wants to make his life better at the same time. How can you do that? Only Paul Guilfoyle can do that. Like, he appreciates art. He's going to steal it, but he really deeply loves it at the same time. That's such a that's a great character. That's great. And Paul's the guy to do
As a viewer, I took note on some of the things he was saying. I was like,
it.
it's right. He's got a point.
He's got a point. And to me, it's like there's like this, that's the spirit of Boston for me. There's a crazy wisdom uh underneath all of it. There's a lot of, banter on the surface, but under it, there's a deep kind of understanding about how to live in the world. It's really interesting. I like that a lot. That's the thing I was playing with.
There was one line that says, he says about being scared means you're at the edge of your unknown where great things happen. And
Yeah, that's exactly what Paul, not the character, but the guy told me when we were shooting. He's like, it's okay. It's okay. You're gonna be okay. Because it's very nerve-wracking. And he was like, you just get comfortable. You're pushing yourself to the edge of your unknown and just and live there. Spend time there. Enjoy it there. That was really like, oh, okay. So that's how I took that into filmmaking and then gave it back to him in dialogue and made him say it out loud.
that's brilliant. And the character of Steve, played by Taylor, he takes onto that and makes squeezes juice out of it.
Yeah, Taylor was also a great I knew exactly what I wanted, and Taylor was the one. And it was somebody who, could walk that line. Taylor is a really cool kid, but he's able to make us think that he's not. That's really good too. He's just, with just a little bit of help, he could be cool. He's just under it. He's just under being cool. That also I liked a lot. And Taylor nailed it. And they had two very different styles between the two of them. So I wanted to see their styles interact.
Yeah, Steve was a cool kid. And I mean, Sarah was good enough for him. Why was he not good enough for her? I didn't understand that
I
dialogue back
agree.
and forth.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. I mean, Alex is the actor, and she's great, and she just brings it to life. But to me, like, I want to see people who I've met before. I feel like I've met her when I was young and single. I knew people like Alex. I
Yeah.
really did, and she seemed real to me. And that's what I liked about it. That's my job, writing any character, is do they feel real? Does this feel like a real person and not just like a two-sided person? Is she good? Is she bad? Is Marty good? Is Marty bad? Is Taylor cool? Is he not cool? I love playing with those lines. That was my job.
And at the end of the day, they're human. All I'm sure all bad guys have some sort of sense of humor too.
Yeah, probably yes. Some of them, maybe not all of
What about the
them.
timing? Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Sorry, that I think it just occurred to me why I chose this story and not the Whitey Bulger story, because Whitey Bulger had no sense of humor. So I don't care about him.
Gotcha. That makes sense. We want personality.
Right.
Uh,
Good personality, not the bad kind.
yes, definitely. And real quick, when did you start? Because I feel like the stars aligned for you. I mean, you're making this film, living with it, and the release date so close to the 35 years since it took place. How did how did it all come about?
I think, I've been a writer for 25 years or 23 years in Hollywood. I've been waiting a long time to do this. I wanted to choose the right subject. I wanted to choose the right size. Um, I wanted to control as much as I could um, in what the shape of it was going to be. I wanted to give up what the right things to give up and hold on to the right things that you have to hold on to. So I saved up for a long time to make this. This was a long time coming. So it was actually really well planned. And I feel like when you do that and you have a really good intention and it makes sense and you can convince people who are really creative to join you, I think good things wind up happening. And it wound up that when we were all done and ready to go, we saw this date on the calendar. Oh, this is the 35th anniversary of the robbery. What a great time to release the film. So it in some ways it was lucky, but I think, Marty would say that you make your luck.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I could tell you definitely learned a lot during this film.
Yeah. Yeah, every film should be that. That's what I wanted it to be, an exploration, a learning. I didn't have answers. I just had questions about myself. Could I do this? About the material. Is it good enough? And then, also what else? It was just full of questions. Like, can you do this with a character? Can you put the um, heist in the background? Will people still care? All these questions, I love them.
For marketing purposes, you guys came out, released this video, the camera footage, the surveillance. Can you tell me a little bit about that? That was real footage from that March 18th?
Just like this is the real art behind me. I think I happened to make a film at the very moment where the film industry collapsed, and which to me is really exciting because that means I have just as good a shot as Warner Brothers at finding because they have no idea what they're doing. Not just Warner's, every studio. They don't know how to get a film to market at all. So why do I need to go through them? Why don't we do it ourselves? So what I did is I teamed up with a bunch of creative marketing executives here in New York. I call it indie filmmaking meets Madison Avenue. And we came up with this multi-phase campaign. That was the first phase, just to dip our toe in the water to see, okay, what if we pushed out some interesting new content that isn't the movie? It's not even the premise of the movie, but it leads you to the premise of the movie. And we're not just going to do it once, we're going to do it again and again and again in different ways. So the first step was that we found the security footage from the night of the uh, robbery, which was stolen. That was the only other thing that was stolen besides these 13 pieces. Oh, we should have a videotape here. That's a good idea. So that was the first phase. Let's put out this security footage and let's see how it flies. And at the end of it, it said, "Come." The last piece where the guy came out of the museum was holding up the sign. It said, "Go see any day now at the Boston Film Festival." So we sold out the Boston Film Festival for 2 nights. We got, I think, 10 million hits on that first released video, which is just really video surveillance footage that we shot. And and then we won the audience favorite award at the festival, which is the only award that matters at any festival because it's what the audience thinks, not the press. It's the only time we've shown the film in public until now. And we just wanted to see if it worked, and that worked. And now we've just started phase two, which is opening a gallery in Chelsea of these 13 stolen works of art. And it's a provocation, and let's see what people say when they come. And then we're also releasing a series of ads. Right now, we're starting it that are going to come out over the next several months that are stories, basically, of the ghosts of these artists who haunt the museum at night ever since these paintings have been stolen. So it's a multi-staged campaign that I don't think anybody has ever done in the indie world. And even in Hollywood, like they will dip their toe in social media, but nobody's come out with like a this kind of campaign before. And we're moving and changing as we go along because we have control of it. So it's really super exciting and interesting and an experiment. We'll see how it goes.
Wow, that's brilliant. See, I saw it, but I thought maybe had it would be like a smart ass thing for these thieves to like do something like that, dress up. And then I saw the end, but I was like, I wonder if it's real, but manipulated at the end. Like, I don't know. The creativity.
I feel like that's it. That's exactly where we want to be. I feel like um that's a good grab on social media. Social media likes questions. They don't, it likes comments. And in that medium, we're going to be doing that. We're just like this. We're going to provoke people. It's up to you to decide. The prompt is here, and then you decide what you take away from it. That's the real art, is what you decide, what you feel about it, what you think about it, and you can think anything you want. That's what's so great. There's a freedom to it.
Well, thank you so much for your time. Congratulations, Eric. I enjoyed the script, the dialogue, at most, because like I said, I feel like we have a lot of learning lessons there.
Yeah, and it's the same, from the movie, the making of the movie. It's the same thing with the selling of the movie. We want to do it in a way that Marty would do it, which is let's try it a little different from what everybody else is doing. What's wrong with that? And so that's why we're releasing it on March 17th uh, for a limited time in a theater in New York and a theater in Boston. And we're going to release it online at Kinema at the same time for a week. So if people want to see it online, and then we're going to pull it. And then we'll see what happens. We're dipping our toe. We're trying out everything. And that's definitely the spirit of the movie. and it should be the spirit of the selling of it too.
Well, and then that's where your heart is. You're at the heart of filmmaking too. So it's all over. It's all over it. I love it.
Thank you, Nancy. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you so much. And again, congratulations.